Joining us now, Erica Andiola, former chief of advocacy of Raices, the Refugee and Immigrant Center for Education and Legal Services. She is the former press secretary for Latino Outreach for Bernie Sanders. And Stuart Stevens served as Mitt Romney's chief strategist for 2012. He is now a senior advisor at the Lincoln Project. Erica, you have spent your adult life trying to follow your American dream, standing up to whoever was in the way of people's American dream. Trump has a political career where he said all kinds of things. When you hear this latest comment, what do you hear, Erica?
Dehumanization. I think I hear someone who is actively trying to continue to dehumanize immigrants, people of color, and it's dangerous. It is dangerous. We have seen the consequences of this type of rhetoric in the past. We have seen it not just in policies, right, that he has enacted as the former president, but also he has inspired people to commit terrible violence against immigrants, against people of color. I mean, we cannot forget what happened in El Paso, and the reasons why this person went and did everything that he did to end the lives and kill so many people because of the type of rhetoric that Trump has been using against immigrants. So this is absolutely dangerous. And as an immigrant, it makes me so concerned of our lives and our safety in this country.
Stuart, what is Donald Trump saying when he talks about poisoning the blood of people?
Yeah, I don't think this is really complicated. I think he's talking to white voters. His and hopefully an increasingly smaller percentage of white voters, but 85% of Trump's coalition in 20 was white, in a country that's 59, 60% white. And this is language that's been used by those who are appealing to the worst amongst a certain segment of the election for long history of this. I mean, it was used certainly in the 30s in Europe. You have Viktor Orban in Hungary, who has become a darling of the right. He talks about the purity of the blood. Look, the only blood that really has been shed here is that all the Americans who have sacrificed to defend the country. And as it turns out, Hispanic Americans have a higher percentage of service than any other group in this country. So it's really fundamentally anti-American. It's hateful. And it's appealing to the worst in people. And we would be very naive to think that it's not extraordinarily dangerous.
Yeah, and Erica, I want to kind of bring back something you mentioned in the beginning of our conversation, which is this is not new. And you know this, Erica, more than most. Donald Trump has been attacking immigrants from the first day he announced his presidency in 2015. I'd like to kind of, things are important to look back. Listen to this exchange I had with him in 2015. Listen to this. What you said about the United States becoming a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. And you say when Mexicans send its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending people like you and like me, to quote you a little further. They're bringing in drugs. They're rapists. Is this what you think of the Latino community in the United States, many who have come across the border to participate in this country, that have American dreams, and that participate in the economy of the United States?
Not at all. But many bad people are coming in. And I'm not talking Mexico. I'm talking about from all over the world. And I say that. They're coming from all over. Many bad people are coming in.
That was 2015, Erica. He's just come down from those steps in Trump Tower. My question is, Erica, does this hurt him? I mean, it doesn't seem like among a lot of people this is concerning.
Well, he's appealing to his base, right? His base has already been hearing this kind of rhetoric for so many years. And not only that, he used that rhetoric to move the needle on how a lot of people who have followed him, a lot of people who hear him, and he has grown his base, right? So a lot of these people really have believed that immigrants are less than them, right? He has used this rhetoric to let people know, right? When you think of immigrants, don't think of them as human beings. Think of them as less than you. So when this happens, it allows him to create policies like when he was a president, right? Like getting rid of DACA. I mean, I'm a DACA recipient. I remember that moment so clearly, Separating babies, children, toddlers from their mothers as they're crossing the border. All of this has been accepted by a lot of his followers and his base because he has prompted them, because he has said all these things over and over again. And I'm really afraid of a 2024 election where, he's going to continue this rhetoric. And I mean, if we were to have another term of Trump, I really worry that the type of dehumanization that he has created for the immigrant community, mostly people of color, could be opening the door for more terrible policies, right? And policies that I just don't even want to think about on what they would do to people like myself and my family.
Erika Andiola and Stuart Stevens, thank you very much for being with us today. Really appreciate it.